We have some massive news to go over today as the Pittsburgh Steelers have made a sneaky good signing. And following what has been a brutal past few weeks of defensive play, they're bringing in some reinforcements by making a sneaky signing. We're going to break that down as well as discuss some injury updates, including a brutal one to safety DeShon Elliott following Mike Tomlin speaking out for one of the first times since the brutal loss against the Packers on Sunday. A ton to go over on this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, about 67% of you who are watching right now aren't subscribed. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. You guys have been piece of the support. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot to go over today. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers as well, by the way. So thank you guys for your support. Folks, let's dive right into it. Let's just not waste any more time. The Steelers moments ago have signed former Commanders DB. Pittsburgh Steelers are bringing in veteran safety after one of their starters suffered an injury in Week 8. Now, of course, DeShon Elliott, he has been a pretty crucial factor as it pertains to the Steelers defense. They, of course, now for a very, very long time, at least over the past few years, have had a pretty highly paid defense. And at this point now, with DeShon Elliott down, their safeties are in shambles, and as a result, they have made a signing. But before they made that signing, a report had dropped earlier this afternoon that they worked out a pair of safeties in Eddie Jackson and Von Bell, who both have prior experience playing in the AFC North, but they decided not to go with either of those guys, at least for now, and they brought in Derek Forrest instead. Now, we'll have another video covering Jackson and Bell. Still could be an option, but they decided to bring in Derek Forrest, who we'll dive into, and his presence in the practice squad could potentially delay the decision of the other two guys here. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Derek Forrest, he is quite the interesting name. Now, he is not going to blow you away. He's not going to be someone that absolutely is some sort of superstar player, but he has some experience at the position. Now, just to confirm, he is being signed to their practice squad per Tom Pelissero. He's signed to their practice squad. He's had 40 career games with 17 starts. So at the end of the day here, it's going to be an interesting name. Now, let's dive into some of his stats over the past few years. He's only played with the Commanders 40 games, 17 starts. He's had 4 interceptions, and he is, of course, a safety, at least over the past couple of years, especially 10 games last season, only started one of them. So we'll see if he gets elevated from the practice squad. We'll see if he actually ends up playing a lot for this team. But he played collegiately at Cincinnati, where he appeared in 49 games and was a 5th-round draft pick in the 2021 NFL drafts. Just keep in mind here, this isn't someone who's older, right? And they were working out some more veteran players in Eddie Jackson and Von Bell, who are a bit older and have been around for longer. But they're going with Derek Hall, who's younger, a recent, 4 years ago, 5th-round pick, and has slowly seen a decrease in playing time. He appeared in 8 games as a rookie, obviously started 11 in 2022, was a pretty good tackler, but he headed into free agency. You can see there, a 26-year-old reached free agency this past offseason after his rookie contract expired. He signed with the Bills and then was let go during the last batch of roster cuts, signed to the Colts, and now was released and now is officially a Pittsburgh Steeler, at least on their practice squad. So we know how bad the state of the Steelers' safety room is. DeShon Elliott, we'll have an update on him. Pretty brutal injury. He might be back sooner than expected, though. Chuck Clark has looked horrible in his brief time with the Steelers, or at least his brief season this year. He's looked really, really bad. They obviously have some other guys. Jabril Peppers is going to have to step up heavily. He is going to be the one who has his completely, to carry this defense, at least as it pertains to the safety position. They clearly don't have a ton of faith in Chuck Clark. Now, I want you guys to let me know down below, do you guys have faith in their safety room right now? Whether that be Chuck Clark, whether that be Jabril Peppers, or some, Juan Thornhill, or some other guys as well. They need help. And at the end of the day here, if they don't go out and play better defensively, and this is obvious to say, but it starts from the top. It starts with Mike Tomlin. It starts with all of their defensive woes that they've had. They need to fix those right now. And a lot of the players are coming out and saying they take responsibility and that they are going to fix them. And we'll see if Derek Hall gets into some games and what he looks like going forward. But let's transition now into some other updates. Now let's start with the safety position, since it's kind of what we've been talking about. Anyway, he says that week to week is a fair characterization for DeShon Elliott. And something strange is going on here, and I'll have a full video covering this. DeShon Elliott initially was supposed to be out for the rest of the year, and then some reports and rumors started to surface, and speculation started to emerge that he actually might be back sooner than that. And then Mike Tomlin comes out and clarifies it by saying week to week, which doesn't really give you much. Like week to week could be like Joe Burrow's week to week. He could be back. Now, Joe Burrow's not going to be returning for months, obviously, but for the Steelers, week to week could mean, hey, he's back in 2 weeks. It could be he's back in 6 to 8 weeks. He could be out for the season. So we actually didn't get much there. Ultimately, it is a more positive injury update, albeit still a brutal injury, because week to week is better than officially being ruled out for the year, which is something that I think most of us Steelers fans were bracing for deep down, him being out for a very, very long time. And he had just come back from an injury, or I guess a family matter, and he missed a game there a couple weeks ago. So some more updates though. Scotty Miller broke his finger, and their wide receiver depth is not great right now, especially with, I guess, the impending signing of Marquez Valdez-Scantling, which I think is going to happen in a couple weeks. But he has a broken finger. We'll try to see if he can play through it. Of course, they've been going through so many injuries. You see the ACL injury there, Daniel, and he's out for the season. Of course, Deshaun Elliott, hyperextended knee, he is out. Hyperextended is better than, any tears and any ligaments there. And of course, you have left guard Isaac is questionable this week with a pectoral injury. And all eyes have been on Mike Tomlin. We know this team. People are predicting they're going to go 9-8. They said that when the Steelers were 4-1. It's on them to step up. They're going to have a really good game this week. And once again, the offense hasn't been as much of a problem as the defense has been, which is surprising because they're paying so many players. You obviously acquired Darius Slay in the offseason. You're paying and traded for Jalen Ramsey, all these different guys. And Tomlin spoke out on addressing the big plays on 3rd and long, which is something this defense has been really struggling containing the 3rd and long. He says we need to be better in 3rd down than we have been, but it necessarily doesn't mean dramatic changes in schematics and things of that nature. Folks, Steelers have no plans to make changes to defensive coaching staff. So not only are they not planning on changing anything right now, and I didn't expect them halfway through the season, mid-season, to just throw away their defensive coaches and to make a ton of changes. But that's what fans want, right? But not only that, he went as far as saying that he has no plans to change dramatically, at least the schematics and things of that nature, even though they're getting absolutely destroyed. You just gave up, a ton of yards and points to Tucker Kraft. Your defensive schemes in general have looked lackluster. You acquired Darius Slay. You acquired, of course, Jalen Ramsey, so you could play man coverage, so you can blitz with TJ Watt and all these different guys. They haven't been able to do it. They haven't been able to do it, and their pass rush has been really, really bad because of the fact that, at times the cornerbacks are getting burnt. At times the defensive line is getting just outplayed and destroyed by the opposing team's O-line. It's going to be rough. And will Derek Forrest be the savior at the safety position? Probably not, but it's still a good sneaky signing that we can look into going forward and say, okay, at least they have some more depth, and it's a younger player that has some upside there. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on all of that. And you can see here, Daniel Jones, of course, spoke out on the Pat McAfee show and said, we're about to get back in the film room. We got to see what these Steelers look like. So I'm sure he's ready to have a field day looking at the footage against the Packers. But Steelers have to adjust. They have to step up. And hopefully they can do so very, very soon because the trade deadline is just around the corner. And whether or not the Steelers are going to be buyers is pretty unclear. They're obviously going to be buyers. Whether or not they go big after I don't think you can go for defensive players. Maybe you can, but it's probably going to be a wide receiver. Whether you go for a guy like Jacoby Myers or stick with Marquez Valdez-Scantling. There's a lot of reports dropping, and things are really, even Rashid Shaheed, things are really starting to pick up there. So thank you guys for watching, SRBs.